In this video, I'm going to talk about certification, particularly the PMP, versus a degree, particularly a degree in project management. My name is Andrew Ramdial, and I am the author of the book PMP Exam Prep Simplified and many other courseware that has helped over 100,000 people pass their PMP. So let's get started. So I got a question on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, and I told the person that I would make a video for it to answer the question because I thought it was a pretty good question. And it's a question that I've gotten more than once, and that is, Andrew, what should I get? Should I go and invest time and money and get a PMP? Or maybe I should get like a master's degree or a bachelor's degree in project management. Which one is best? Which one should I go with? So in this video, I got some notes here that I want to review with you guys that I made up that I'm going to give you my opinion on. Now, obviously you guys know I have a PMP, but I also, me personally, also have a master's degree in project management. I got a few years ago. So I think I got a good, unique perspectives on the pros and cons of them. And then towards the end of the video, I'll give you my opinion on it. So let's go through the pros and cons of certification, particularly the PMP certification versus the degree in project management. So let's knock this out. The first thing up I'll start with is the degree. Now, a degree is something that will take an incredible amount of time to do. Bachelor's degree takes about 4 years to do. Master's degree can take 2 or 3 years, depending on where you do them. Maybe they're online, maybe they're in person, maybe you have a lot of courses, maybe they give you additional credits for your work or certification and so on. So degrees, one of the major cons of getting a degree is, of course, the length of time they take to complete. If you're applying to a job and the job needs a degree, you don't have that degree, well, you're probably not going to get that job because by the time you get that degree, that job will probably be gone because it'll probably take a few years to do it. So the length of time. And that's a con, by the way. Another con of a degree is the enormous cost. The rising cost of college tuition here in the United States, I'm not sure about the rest of the world, is absolutely insane, the amount of money colleges are charging. My daughter starts college in a few weeks, and it's going to cost, with loans and stuff, she's going to end up taking, believe it, this is going to sound crazy, but I think about $250,000. It's an insane amount of money. These young people getting these degrees, it's an insane amount of money that these colleges are charging. And of course, the better the college, the more money these people are spending. Now, if you go and you get a degree from a prestigious place, you're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars. Master's degrees from certain high-end universities is going to cost over $100,000. And that's an incredible amount of money. It's a good down payment for a really nice house. So really long to get, and it's enormous cost. Now, degrees does have some really good benefits. Number one is that many jobs in project management will make a degree, not necessarily a degree in project management, but will make a degree itself mandatory. Very few jobs in the world of project management, whether you're managing IT projects, construction projects, advertising, it doesn't matter. Many of them makes a degree mandatory. So if you don't have this degree, you're not getting that job. They won't even consider your resume. So that's something to consider, that they are generally required. Very rarely does it say preferred. Degree is preferred. No, in today's world, guys, more than likely it's going to say bachelor's or higher required to apply. So take that into consideration. Another thing to think about is going to be, and this is going to be a pro. So the pro is that, it's the requirement, right? You get it, you can apply. A good pro is the amount of topics you're going to learn. So like I told you guys, I have a master's degree in project management. And the amount of things that you learn comparing to a PMP is more, because the curriculums are just more. So in my master's degree program, we did IT projects. I think there was one on software development projects, communications, people skills. And because every one of the courses you take has a giant textbook that you have to go through, and you have to do projects, and you have to answer a bunch of questions and take quizzes on it. You really dive deep into the material. In my opinion, I think the amount of things you learn, and again, this is really going to be based on the degree program. I think the amount of things you learn in project management from a degree program is amazing. It's just a lot of stuff. It's really useful in terms of real life stuff. This is in reference to a PMP where it's more of a glance of a lot of things. So pros, it's going to probably, you can apply for that job because it's required. And you know what? You're going to learn a lot of detailed stuff. So those are going to be my 2 pros. And again, my 2 cons here was what? Long and expensive. Now, let's talk about a PMP. Now, you can imagine here a PMP is going to be the opposite of what most of these are. So right off the bat, we're going to go with the cons of a PMP. And like I started with the cons of a college. So one of the things that I found with the PMP, and you guys know I write books on PMP, right? So let me tell you some things that are bad about it comparing to a degree. Number one is that it's less detailed. Previously the PMP was based on PMBOK, so it was just one study guide you would go through and you would pass your exam. Now you got to go through a few study guides or just my study guide. And even though the PMP is the biggest I've ever seen it now, it still doesn't match the sheer knowledge of a degree. For example, PMP and in particularly the whole PMP realm of today where you're learning agile and hybrid and traditional projects is that it covers a lot of the processes of how to complete those projects, the 49 processes in PMBOK, all the agile ceremonies and processes. But what it really lacks is a lot of terms on servant leadership and managing people and the psychology of like emotional intelligence and so on. That you're going to get a lot of a degree. So I found that the PMP, even though it's a great certification to get, it just doesn't have the sheer volume of knowledge that you would get in a degree. First of all, because a degree has many courses versus a PMP is just a one course thing. The other con here is that sometimes, I should say most of the time and I did some research on this video to go through different job posting, a lot of times it'll just say preferred. In other words, it's not required. Now, a good 30% of the jobs that I looked at, and I looked on Indeed, I went on Indeed and I just typed project manager and project management to come up with jobs. And a lot of times it had said things like preferred versus the degree is required. It was preferred. So I put this in the con column. In other words, it's not required. Most jobs just prefer it. They don't make it a requirement. Versus the degree, it's generally required to get the job. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, a good 30% of the jobs I did look at will tell me that PMP is required for that job. So they would want a degree and they want a PMP. Okay, what is a pro about PMP? Well, it's going to be the opposite of a degree. It is short. Most people can get a PMP within 3 months. Shouldn't take more than that. I did a video a few weeks ago, where I said I'm disturbed by people getting their PMP in a week or 2. Shouldn't do that. Watch that previous video. It's probably take you about 2 months or a month and a half or 3 months to get your PMP. So it's relatively quick compared to the years it takes to get a degree. The other thing is that it's inexpensive. While a degree can cost over $100,000, a PMP will cost you maximum a few $1,000s. If you take a boot camp for $1,000 and you do the certification and the membership and the books and courses and all that good stuff, you're probably in the hole for a couple grand the most. So a few $1,000s versus over $100,000 or tens of thousands of dollars for a degree. So you can see there that it is, of course, a lot cheaper. So those are my pros and my cons there. So just a quick recap before I give the opinion what the degree. The pro is what? You're going to learn a lot of stuff. It's generally required versus preferred like the PMP, but it's long and expensive. Now, the certification, the PMP, is short. It's inexpensive. You're not going to learn a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff in detail. You learn a lot of stuff, you just don't learn them in detail like you do in a degree. And a lot of times it's preferred versus required. Now, my opinion on this, and this is the question that the student had asked me, and what should I do? Should I get a degree or a PMP? And if you haven't figured it out already, you should know what I'm going to tell you, is that I think you should get both. Why is that? Because in today's world, for good paying, good company jobs, at good paying jobs at really good companies like Google or Facebook, right? One of these big tech companies, these giant businesses that has a lot of perks and they have a lot of days off and medical leave and whatever more. So all the good benefits. Is that it's highly competitive. You see, you project managers, you PMP certified folks, you people with the high-end degrees, a lot of people I teach, you guys are the top of the ladder. You guys are the management level versus the lower tier of folks. So sometimes I teach like a security plus, and those are like beginners. So you guys are the top of the ladder, and you guys are very competitive with each other. And the more you can show, the better. So in my opinion, you should get both. First of all, because if you don't have a degree, you probably cannot qualify for most of the jobs in project management at all. The other thing is that even when you get the degree and you qualify for the job, they're probably going to say PMP is preferred. And if you don't have it, somebody else will have it and you're not going to get the job. So do you need a degree in project management though? I got a degree in project management because it's something I do. I write books on it. And I said, you know what? It'd be good to learn more about it, because up until that point of getting that degree, the only thing I had known about project management was from my on-job experience and what I learned in getting my PMP. But then when I went to college, I went to the university, I got the master's degree in project management, then it opened my eyes and I learned a lot more. Because I read more stuff, I went more in depth into it. When you start doing projects and all, when you start doing projects for your courses, you learn a lot more. What is that thing called when you finish the master's degree? Dissertation? No, is that? No. Thesis, whatever it's called. The thesis or whatever it was at the end of the degree program was very big and very long. And I actually put a lot of work and learned a lot. So I think you need both. I think in today's world, it's highly competitive. There's a jobs that are paying very well. It's going to have a lot of applicants on there. And the more you can show on your resume, the more that makes me stand out is going to help me get that job. You guys got to remember something about getting a job or job placement is that you are fighting against the other person. When an employer like me puts up a job posting and I go hire someone, I'm basically hiring Bob over Bill. I'm going to compete these two guys. And, I'm going to interview both of them. I'm going to look at this one's credential, look at this one's credential. I'm going to look at this one's presentation, how they do in the interview. It's Bob versus Bill. This is how you guys got to look at it. Every time you go to a job interview, remember, it's not that you didn't get the job. It's somebody took the job from you. Somebody else got that job. So you got to say to yourself, what can I do to beat all my other competitors? Well, get more credentials. But it's just not credentials, right? It's knowing your material. It's being able to interview well. And with that comes the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed this video, hey, give it a like. I would love if you can subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. And if you guys would like to see me make some videos on how to become an amazing interviewee, is that such a word? How you can do an amazing performance in an interview or improve your resume or how you can go about increasing your salary, because I am an employer and I've employed a lot of people over the last 12 years. Let me know in the comments. And if you do enjoy it, also let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think of this video, and I'll see you in the next video.